What's up, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of the
Geek
Buddies.
It's an episode so big with such huge earth-shattering news that John Rocha could not fit in James Gunn in this week's episode.
It's 100% the truth. I tried to fit him in, but there was no place to fit him in because Hollywood right now is all aflutter about the WB Paramount Netflix news. We are definitely going to talk about that on this show, but we got other stuff to talk about as well. But yes, James Gunn, rest easy this week. You can get back on the bench, take the week off. Yeah, we'll see you next week.
Do you think he's mad? Do you think he's mad at home going, nothing I said this week? I mean, he's probably worried for his job. So he's worried for his job today. So he's probably keeping quiet.
It's funny you say that. So we might bring up James Gunn, but we're not directly going to talk about James Gunn in terms of the comments he's made. So yes, he may make an appearance or a cameo appearance in our discussion sometime in the show today. But I am John Rocha, writer, producer, and host here on the Geek Buddies. You are
Michael Vogel. I'm a writer and producer of animated TV shows, movies, and video games. And I poured myself a drink because it has been a hell of a week for me, buddies. I don't know how it's been for you, but I'm glad it's Friday, and I'm glad that I'm drinking.
Well, especially with the news that popped off last night. As I said, we're going to talk about it. So I'm going to adjust my lighting. I bought 2 new lights over Black Friday, so I just have to make sure I get the blue light correct.
There's a joke in there somewhere, but Shannon's not here to make it.
There we go. I'd put some blue aspect to it all. But anyway, all right. So we're going to talk about all of that here. So sit back, relax. Let's have some fun. As Michael just pointed out, Shannon is not joining us today because he is working late. And right around the holiday season is when we get a little less McClung on the Geek Buddies because of his.
They let the Raptors out.
Yes, onto the poor elves. And the Grinch, who's there. By the way, have you seen the Latino Grinch, the Spanish-speaking Grinch at Universal Studios? This is amazing. So if you haven't watched the Spanish-speaking Grinch on TikTok, do yourself a favor. I
feel like I'm not allowed to say anything right now without getting in trouble. So I'm just going to let you have that one.
All right. Fair point. All right. Let's get into the big news. One of the big news items of the week here, Michael. We got to talk about DC. We got to talk about this news. Scarlett Johansson. It feels like this news broke 3 weeks ago when it really broke like a day and a half ago. But yes, Scarlett Johansson is in final talks to be in the Batman Part 2 movie here, as some of the quotes have been as a love interest. Some of the stories have said as a villain, possibly both. But she is going to lead the way here. And Jeff Snyder reported this on the Hot Mic as we're recording this as recently as last night, that Emma Stone was the first choice to play the role that Scarlett Johansson is going to play in the Batman Part 2. But she ended up passing on the role. And Scarlett Johansson, who was working on the extra stuff with Mike Flanagan, told her team to go and pitch her for this role and get her this role. And in the end, she seems like she's going to land this. They haven't officially announced it, but final talks when it comes on Deadline and all these places basically means that it's going to happen. So, Michael, your thoughts on this? Scarlett Johansson, the Batman Part 2. We'll speculate who she might be playing, but what are your thoughts on this news?
Well, the best part about this news is that she now had to drop out of the live-action Tangled due to scheduling conflicts with Batman Part 2.
But why do you say that? Do you think she was right for it, or
I'm just saying, I think there's a better Mother Gothel out there, and now maybe we're going to find her. That's all I'm saying. I think the world of Scarlett Johansson. I think she's great. I just don't think she's Mother Gothel. So I'm glad that this has conflicted with that. Yeah. I think it's, it's cool. The speculating is the fun part because to have a female role in the Batman Part 2 that is a big enough role that Emma Stone was your first choice and you got Scarlett Johansson coming in to play the role means this is a pretty major role.
Right.
So what that means for the story and where it's going and who the bad guys are and what this is going to reveal about Bruce Wayne and all of those things is pretty exciting. And also, because we talked about this on the on our Geek Buddies chat, Zoe Kravitz is not returning in this movie.
She is not. No.
Which doesn't mean that Catwoman is out of the picture entirely, but it does mean that she was the romantic interest for Bruce in the first movie, and that it seems like this role could fulfill a new romantic interest, and then maybe Zoe Kravitz comes around in the third movie or something. I hope that we haven't seen the last of her, but there is space in this movie for a little bit of a romance with Bruce.
Yeah, I think this is a fascinating decision by Scarlett, right? Because she's just coming out of the Jurassic World Rebirth, making 800 million plus on that essentially spinoff of the original six movies, and doing great work with that. She signed on to do the Exorcist reboot with Mike Flanagan directing, who people love his horror take on things. And now diving into another blockbuster. This is fascinating decision because she is essentially kind of moving into this area as a female Tom Cruise. She's not Tom Cruise, right, in the legacy and the history that he has, but she's been in Marvel films. She's moving into these areas where there's a lot of money. She just did her recent directorial debut, which got a lot of great reviews for Eleanor the Great. So she is becoming like this entity in Hollywood that when you go back and watch A Ghost World or Horse Whisperer, you don't even glimpse that that's a possibility with the energy that she has. And so it's fascinating to see her kind of evolving into this thing, Mike. Am I misreading this, or do you sense
I don't
this?
think, no, I think the Tom Cruise example is a good one because how I'm going to say this without setting off all of your Tom Cruise alarms. Emma Stone is an actress that pretty comfortably steps back and forth into big tentpole movies, big budget things, and then can go do weird stuff like Begonia.
Right. Or
and she's like she's very comfortable in both worlds.
Right.
Tom Cruise has acting chops, 100%. He's done dramatic stuff, but Tom Cruise is not he's not Robert Pattinson. He's not your indie movie star. He's never going to go, Tom Cruise did the suit. I think the weirdest thing he did was Magnolia.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it stays in a very, I'm a movie star role.
Right.
Oh, hold on one second.
There you go. You're back.
My sister is calling me on FaceTime, but I'm not going to answer it after the Thanksgiving weekend we had.
It was great to see them, though. Yes, go ahead.
It was great to see them. It was great to see them. She doesn't watch this show, so she's not going to hear that I said that.
Oh, okay, fair point.
But Tom Cruise has that. Say, like Scarlett Johansson has stepped into this. I am an action movie star.
Yeah.
With Jurassic Park and Avengers and everything, she's an action movie star, and she is like a big marquee name who isn't necessarily your Oscar winner marquee name, but is a marquee name. So Tom Cruise, the Tom Cruise comparison is an apt one. The thing that I thought about that this week. I don't remember if it was 2, 3, 5 years ago. I don't remember when it was, but Scarlett Johansson did an interview, and looking at her career, sounds like a crazy thing, but everyone in Hollywood thinks this way. She said that every time she gets a job, she's instantly afraid it's going to be her last job.
Wow.
And I think a lot, you wouldn't think that the Emma Stones and the Scarlett Johanssons of the world, but I think everybody thinks this. You're always like, did I age out? Am I too old? I don't have my finger on the pulse? Like writers do it, actors do it, directors do it. Everybody does it. And looking like she's banking right now.
Yeah.
Like you're taking those roles that are like, these movies have, I mean, she's going to be fine no matter what. She has more money than all of us, but she's just like, she's banking these roles that you're like, you're just set forever.
Yeah.
You're set. Your kids are set. Your kids' kids are set. So I wonder how much of it is like that need for that security.
Well, I think, but the thing about Scarlett that's been great is that she doesn't radiate that kind of Hollywood sociopathy that some of these bigger stars have, which is like, it's all about me. Everything's about me. Focus on me. Right?
I don't think that. I mean, look, there's definitely those out here. I think even the most humble of writers, directors, actors, who just seem like salt of the earth people are like, I was fortunate enough to fall onto this track.
Yeah.
When is it going to end?
Well, I don't disagree with you. I just think it's more, what I think is, and I think you're 100% accurate on this. I think she is someone who has finding herself being able to move within the worlds successfully. Like she can show up with Colin Jost on the Weekend Update, and have a lot of fun on Saturday Night Live. And then she goes and leads an action film, directs a movie, and now she's going to go into Batman. And this is not going to be Jurassic World. This is the Batman under Matt Reeves. This is a darker take. This is more nuance in the performance, more complexity and levels and stuff like that to the
You
work.
think that until the T-Rex shows up.
Right, yeah, exactly. But oh god, yeah, and the big Betty. But like I love this as a move for her because it's kind of playing within both worlds.
Yeah.
She brings that independent acting resume of hers into a world that's a little more blockbustery, but not blockbustery in the way the Jurassic World is. And so she can play in that world. And I think she's going to bring the right kind of energy, like grounded energy to go toe to toe with Pattinson.
I think she's coming after Sam Jackson.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if it's still true, but at a certain point between being in the Star Wars prequels and being in like most of the Marvel movies, in addition to everything else he does, when you like counted up Sam Jackson's box office based on all the movies, he was like the most bankable. And really, it was Marvel and Star Wars that were the most bankable. He just happened to be riding that train. But now between the Marvel movies and the Jurassic Park franchise and jumping into a Batman movie, like she's getting to that territory where if you just count up the box office of all of the ScarJo movies, you're like, that is a hefty box office.
I'm telling you, Star Wars is not out of the realm of possibility. I mean, you could take that Rey movie, move Rey out of that Rey movie, and create a whole new character that Scarlett Johansson
and cast Scarlett Johansson as Mara Jade and
yeah, no, I don't want Mara Jade, but there's a possibility down the road with Scarlett, and I think that's great. And then eventually she'll find a way to an independent film. But I think she's going to become like a mogul. I think she's going to that level where like she will have respect and she will command and she will be able to put in motion projects that she wants to put into motion as a bigwig in the town. You know what I'm saying?
So who do you think she's going to be in this Batman movie?
The Phantasm one makes sense, but I think the thing that comes to me and the thing you and JG talked about on our Geek Buddies thread is the Court of Owls stuff. It has to be someone connected to the Court of Owls. That makes all the sense in the world to me. What about you, Mike?
Well, in the world of adaptation, I don't think those two things are mutually exclusive.
Okay.
I mean, I think what hold on, I have it right here. Matt Reeves said about the villain. Picking the right villain goes into Bruce's past of his life, like that we want to. Yeah, you want someone who's going to be able to like sort of reveal. Like he's made a big deal about the fact that Bruce. What is it he said? He said that most Batman movies, after you get past the first Batman movie, it sort of relies more about the villain and Batman is just reactive. And that he wants to really explore Bruce and Bruce's past. And Andrea Beaumont from Mask of the Phantasm absolutely does that. Even in the animated movie, even though, spoiler alert for a movie that's like 30 years old, she's the Phantasm. But like she was also Bruce's love when he was younger and was first kind of exploring being Batman.
Right.
And there was lots of flashbacks that explored that. Court of Owls is the rich families of Gotham. Having a character that is from a rich family of Gotham who was dating Bruce when he was younger and is now tied up in the Court of Owls, either as the Phantasm or as Andrea Beaumont, but now a Court of Owls version of Andrea, like all of that still kind of tracks. So her being a younger love of Bruce's, who is then tied into the villain story, which is literally what Mask of the Phantasm is, makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah. I like that idea as well. Are you rejecting Poison Ivy or are you rejecting some of the other names I've heard? Could she play Harley Quinn, an older Harley Quinn? Is that possible, a Harleen Quinzel? Because we had the Joker teased at the end of the first movie, though it wasn't really kind of fully revealed. But could that be a possibility, or would that be too far?
I'm not ruling anything out, but if you look at Matt Reeves and what he's interested in doing, sure, every fan in the world wants to see Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn on screen in live action, even though we've seen Harley Quinn, obviously, with Margot Robbie, but like, there's never too much Harley Quinn. We all love Harley Quinn. They are such on the nose, obvious villain choice. Oh, Batman villain. And who are the two top girls that we haven't seen yet? Like, it's just so obvious. And it doesn't really lean in. Like, sure, could Scarlett Johansson be Pamela Isley? And Pamela Isley is also someone from Bruce's past, but now she's really into plants. Like, sure, that makes sense. But it just doesn't seem like that's the world that Matt Reeves is really interested in exploring.
Well, let me throw two other ones out there, because some people have suggested this as a gender swap. Could you see her playing not Harvey Dent, but Harriet Dent from Bruce's past? Could she be Two-Face? Or do you see her possibly playing another version of where is it that I was looking? Oh yeah, we were talking about Poison Ivy, but there's another character that she could be playing as the villain besides Hush. Could she play Tammy instead of Tommy? Would that be a possibility? Or do you think gender swapping is not the way to go with this situation?
I'm just currently picturing what the internet would do with Harriet Dent or Tammy Elliott, and I just don't think I have the energy.
I think ScarJo could escape that though. Well, maybe
no,
not. Maybe not.
Sure couldn't. She sure could. I mean, here's the thing. Like,
no, you schooled me on that yesterday because I thought she might replace Catwoman. And you're like, she's not replacing Catwoman. So, yeah.
Yes. No. Scarlett Johansson, who has a past of taking on roles that are not right for her, jumping into Catwoman.
Yeah.
After Zoe Kravitz. No, I just think that it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
For what I don't like. Look, I don't mind gender swapping. Yeah. I don't mind race swapping. I don't mind switching things around. I have no issue with it at all. But there does come a point where you're like, well, why did you do it?
Right.
And if there's a really good reason why, it's great. But does the Harvey Dent Bruce Wayne relationship become more anything? Given that Harvey was Harriet and she used to date Bruce. Like, I think it gets to the point where you're like, it just like you did it for no reason.
Yeah.
And so it just kind of falls into that category of like, if you're gonna make half the internet furious, have a good reason for making half the internet furious. And neither of those really strikes me as something that you'd go, great.
Yeah.
Like, look, Scarlett Johansson, just physically, just the way she looks, her features, she'd be a great Poison Ivy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%.
Like she looks like she'd look amazing.
Right.
But I think that ultimately, if it's not an Andrea Beaumont, it's going to be a made-up character that kind of fills that same role that an Andrea Beaumont type did, is what I think it's going to be.
Do you think Court of Owls is very much going to be the story?
I'm not going to say anything 100%, but I would put Court of Owls at a high, like, even if I don't think that Matt Reeves is keen on, I want to do Mask of the Phantasm, but in live action. Right. So I don't think, even if she's Andrea Beaumont, I don't think we're going to see Scarlett Johansson running around as like in a Reaper costume with a giant scythe, like slicing people up.
Yeah.
But taking the idea of that character and looping it into the Elliots and the rich people of Gotham and the back history of Bruce Wayne, that feels right. And Court of Owls would be a great substitute for the Phantasm part of that storyline.
Oh, that's a good point. Yes, that. Oh, yeah, I could see that. The replacement. Yeah, I could actually see that. And she radiates that kind of like blue blood, old money energy. So Scarlett could definitely play that. So, but either way, I think I'm excited about this. I don't know about you, but I like this casting. This makes me excited to see what we're going to get in the Batman part 2.
Listen, Batman 2 is like in that Stranger Things season 5 territory. Like, I'm still excited, even though it's been 35 years since the Batman came out. And they keep feeding me more stuff. And I'm like, I'm excited. Yeah. I might have to take a walker to the theater to see it. If I still see it in a theater, we'll see what happens in the next couple of years. But
okay, I want your 60-second take on this. Do you think Emma is making the right moves here recently, like pricing herself out of Sue Richards in Fantastic Four, pricing herself out of rumor-wise of the Batman Part 2? That's what Jeff reported on the Hot Mic. Do you think this is making sense? But being in stuff like Begonia, which no one went to go see. So do you think she's making the right moves, or do you think she's in a position now where it's like she feels she deserves what she should get paid, and if she's not getting paid, she's happy not to do it because she's made enough money? What are your thoughts?
Yeah. I don't think when Emma Stone says to Marvel, if you want me to be Sue Storm, you have to pay me this much money, she's like, I am worth this much money and you have to pay. A lot of times, I mean, I have done this on much lower things than the Fantastic Four movie. I don't really want this job, so tell them they have to pay me this much. Right. And if they pay me this much, I'll do it, because that would be stupid, but I'll take that money. But other than that, I don't want to do it. Like Emma Stone, like, did people go see Begonia? No.
No.
Was she absolutely amazing in Begonia? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is she doing? She's rich enough that she gets to go do whatever and like everyone has their different things. She's more like Robert Pattinson. Robert Pattinson has no desire to be a movie star. The fact that he's Batman notwithstanding, like he literally just wants to do the movies he wants to do.
Yeah.
Emma Stone is like, I'm going to go make movies and work with directors that I think are super cool. And I can do that because I'm Emma Stone and I've made a shit ton of money and I'm a movie star and I can do what I want. And I think that's great.
Yeah. Movie star, Oscar winner, and she can do what you want. That's a good point. One last thing, Scarlett, is this her saying goodbye to Marvel? Are we not going to see her in Secret Wars? Are we not going to see her in Doomsday as Black Widow?
I don't. So here's the thing about comic book deaths.
Okay.
They never last.
No,
so
true.
somebody is dead in a comic book is like nobody ever stays dead. The deaths that matter the most, you just maintain the death the longest.
Right.
And I think Black Widow's death in Endgame was an important death that you don't get to take backsies on until you've really earned it. So I don't think, even though I think we're going to see every fucking person in the world in Secret Wars, I don't think we're going to see Black Widow.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean that we're going to get to halfway through the mutant saga and we're going to do some version of some X-Men time travel story, Days of Future Past or something. Right. And they're going to go be battling the Avengers and Scarlett Johansson's going to be, like there's always a way that you can bring people back. So do I think she's out forever? No. I don't think anybody's necessarily out forever, but I don't think we're going to see her in Secret Wars.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move away from comic book movies for a second. Let's move into this story here just to give it a little balance. Mike, Fast and Furious star Vin Diesel will apparently now write the feature take of Mattel Studios' Rock'em Sock'em Robots. He's attached to also star and produce this under his One Race Films banner, which was announced back in April of 2021. But this new live-action feature film will bring to life the tabletop boxing game and its characters Red Rocker and Blue Bomber. Robbie Brenner, president of Mattel Studios and the chief content officer, the CCO, said Vin is a powerhouse storyteller with an unmatched understanding of action, heart, and world building. Well, I think he's been matched quite a few times. His creative vision for Rock'em Sock'em Robots is bold, human, and deeply cinematic. Exactly the kind of storytelling we love at Mattel Studios. Michael, you have been involved with brands that have turned toys into movies. And this is clearly, Barbie did such a great job that they're like, let's turn all our toys into movies. What are your thoughts on Vin Diesel being the choice for this situation?
Vin Diesel writing?
He's only written 4 things in his entire resume, and none of them were big theatrical films.
Vin Diesel writing is a sentence that just makes no sense. Like, I just don't understand it. That being said, like Vin Diesel attached to a Rock'em Sock'em Robots movie, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But my real question with a Rock'em Sock'em Robot movie is, how do you make a Rock'em Sock'em Robot movie that's not real steel?
That's a great point. A lot of people
like really like here's the thing. And I say this as somebody who worked at Hasbro, so didn't have Rock'em Sock'em Robots, but had meetings about every, like the number of Hungry Hippos pitches that I have heard in my life. You don't even want to, you would think there wouldn't be that many Hungry Hippos pitches. I have heard every version of Hungry Hippos. Like every single toy brand is like, how do we turn this into the big thing? It's the same thing. Like Disney turned Pirates of the Caribbean into a mega franchise. And it was like Universal and everybody like, how do we turn all of our rides into like it's a thing. And like, once you get into that world, my big thing when I worked at Hasbro was the biggest learning that I got out of that job was there's a good idea in anything.
Oh,
like that's the thing. Like there's a good idea in it. So I'm working at Hasbro and you say, we need to do Play School, the movie. We need to do Stretch Armstrong, the action series. We need to do a Hungry Hippos animated feature. Like any version of those, you're like, okay, there's a world where it's very Seth Rogen in the studio with the Kool-Aid movie. Like, how do we do this, but make it actually good? I've had those meetings over and over. So when you tell me Rock'em Sock'em Robots, the live action movie, I'm like, yeah, sure. Giant robots that fight each other. But the second that you say giant robots that fight each other, I'm like, Real Steel should not be as good as it is, and it is.
Yeah, it is.
But and once you do that, you're like, I don't know what a movie is that Vin Diesel is going to write that's going to be different enough but good. I'd be happy to be proven wrong.
Right.
But I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I like Vin to a degree. Certainly I enjoy the Fast and the Furious franchise, but I don't know that anything outside of that franchise has ever been damn good that he's been involved in.
Pitch Black.
Oh, wow, right. Pitch Black. Yeah, I guess, but we're going back to what, the early 2000s.
And technically,
no.
He is Groot.
He is Groot, but he doesn't direct the films or write the films or produce the films. So
maybe he wrote his dialogue for Groot.
Just these 3 words. But I just don't think this is a good thing. Also, Vin is like, what, almost 60? Are you going to be the CEO of the Rock'em Sock'em Robots? Or are you going to be the guy, as you said, are you going to be the Hugh Jackman character who is like morphed or connected to these robots and fighting? Like, that just doesn't make any sense. But Mattel wants to make money. I think they know that like Rock'em Sock'em is not going to attract A-list talent like Margot Robbie in terms of like that kind of level. I know Vin to a degree.
You would be surprised.
Really? For Rock'em Sock'em? Okay.
Listen.
All right.
Hasbro got John Chu to do that live action Gem movie for $3.
That's true. Well, yeah. All right. So, all right. We'll see then. We'll see. It might be great. Maybe it's him and The Rock. Holy Jesus. Is that how you bring The Rock and Vin back?
I think The Rock was in his trailer over on the set of Jumanji 3, and he read that Vin Diesel was writing the Rock'em Sock'em Robots movie, and they had to postpone filming for 3 hours while The Rock laughed. That's what I think.
You might be right.
Is he done yet? No, he's still going. All right, we'll shoot a little later.
Well, we'll get to beef between people in a second. Let's get to this story, Michael. This is one that I don't know if I would call this breaking, but this was reported by Avengers Updates here. Sam Wilson's Avengers team in Avengers Doomsday will officially include Thor, Loki, Shang-Chi, Falcon, and Ant-Man. So you got Captain America, Thor, Loki, Shang-Chi, Falcon, Ant-Man. At least Shang-Chi's coming back to be a part of a team. What are your thoughts on this lineup here, Mike? Do you like this lineup?
As a gay man, I like that lineup.
Ew.
Because it's a lot of men's.
It is.
But I wonder where the women's is. It's honestly a head scratcher. Like, okay. Look, I know that She-Hulk was an outside shot.
Yes.
I know that given how She-Hulk did and given the fan response to She-Hulk and given yada, 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 I know that She-Hulk was an outside shot. Right. But I think deep down, I was like, well, but she's a great female character. You could do a lot with her on the big screen. You can do the motion cap CG effects better. Could be great. I'm sure Captain Marvel is playing a role in all this, especially given the everything going with Monica being trapped in the X-Men universe.
Yes.
But like I would have assumed Captain Marvel. I would have assumed in just basic Hollywood 4-quadrant. And I know that like this is just one team, and we have like Yelena Belova leading the other team, and the X-Men are like, I understand that there's going to be lots of females in the movie, and we got Sue Storm, but it just seems weird.
Yeah.
To not have a single female on Sam's team.
Well, a female you might, yeah, of course. Yeah, 100%. A female you might consider is Shuri, Letitia Wright playing Shuri, but Shuri is going to be part of the Wakandan Warriors. That's going to be a separate team. So this is an interesting choice. I mean, Loki is definitely the standout of that crew.
But that's the other issue that I have, actually.
Loki and his
issue is the wrong word. I mean, like at this point with this movie, I'm just like, fuck it, bring it on. Like we're going to be talking about this for the next year, and every single update, I'm just like, yeah, okay, whatever, let's see. But the Loki of it all is interesting because Thor doesn't even know his brother's still alive.
Right, exactly. You have to explain.
Like that. Loki, the second that Loki died at the beginning of Infinity War, and then everything that happened in Endgame that led him to the TVA,
Yeah.
Loki has sort of been existing in this extra dimensional plane. Like he's not in it with everybody else. So when Sam is putting together his team, Thor and Ant-Man, he's worked with in the past. So it's like Tic Tac and the heavy hitter from my last team. I get Joaquin Torres, totally makes sense. Shang-Chi, thank fucking God that we see him again. So like, yes, praise everything. But then how does Loki come into this?
That's a good question. It's a good question because you could argue Loki has like achieved status above all of them.
Last we saw Loki, he was holding all of the threads of reality together in his throne tree.
That's what I'm saying. He's
so like
where everyone else is right now. Yeah.
But yeah, so like the Loki thing is sort of a head scratcher to me. I'm sure they have some reason, and I hope it's a good reason and not a dumb reason.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I believe that, but I hope. But yeah, I just think that the female thing is just like a obvious one. Like, what are you doing? Also, where's Bruce Banner?
Yeah, I know. Where's Bruce Banner? That's a good
He's
question.
not on the new Avengers.
No, he's not.
He's not on this Avengers. So She-Hulk aside, it's like, I think we're at me, and maybe this will be something that happens in the movie. I don't know, but like someone's got to get Bruce Banner. Like we got earth-shattering things going on. Go get your Hulk.
Yeah.
And then if one team has a Hulk, I would go to another Hulk and be like, hey, we need a Hulk also. Right. Like I think there's no reason that you shouldn't have Bruce on one team and She-Hulk on the other team.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like I'm looking at the female, like, I guess,
Look, Monica Rambeau is 100% an important part of the story. Yeah. So if Monica Rambeau and the version of Maria Rambeau that is in this reality that she thought was her mom are both going to be in this movie, then it's a no-brainer that Captain Marvel is a role in the movie. And if Captain Marvel is there, last time we saw her, Miss Marvel was with her. So I'm not trying to say that the movie itself is going to have a lack of female characters, but
right.
It's just a weird thing.
Where's Valkyrie? Wouldn't you think Valkyrie would be the female member of this crew with Thor? And
they have not. Valkyrie, I think, is one of those sad sort of casualties of the sloppiness of the multiverse saga.
Okay.
Like when you got to the end of Endgame, and Thor told Valkyrie that she should rule Asgard and he was going to go off and do his thing. That felt like such a moment.
Yeah.
And he got on that ship, and then Taika Waititi, Thor forward it. And I think Valkyrie and Thor and his, like all of it just sort of fell flat. And so now Valkyrie is just sort of sitting out there, ostensibly ruling Asgard, but we don't really know what that is. And the way that Taika ran with that is she's bored ruling Asgard. Yeah. So she's a bored ruler and not like this.
Yeah.
Not this inspiration. And I guess technically the last we saw of her is, in addition to ruling Asgard, she has now taken on Skrull refugees. But what does that mean? Because the end of Secret Invasion said all aliens on the planet Earth are now illegal. So doesn't that mean all Asgardians and Skrulls have to leave? And how does Valkyrie feel about that? But that's what I mean. Like the sloppiness of the storytelling is Valkyrie as a character, I think they're going to sweep under the rug rather than go, oh, she's busy going to Congress and saying, hey, don't fucking kick aliens off the fucking planet.
Yeah. Well, okay. So look, I like the crew as they're assembled. It's an interesting crew. And if you look at the reality of it, right? Like Thor right now coming off of a bad movie. Captain America coming off of a bad movie. Shang-Chi, haven't seen a sequel in 5 years or whatever it is. Falcon coming off of a bad movie. And then Ant-Man arguably coming off of a bad movie as well. Loki's
not arguably.
Okay, fine. Well, I like Quantumania, so but like
you might like it. Let's just go by box office.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. But Loki's the only one that seems to be like, you know what I'm saying, in a good place with everybody that's assembled in this team. So it's a fascinating choice of people to bring together, but maybe they have great chemistry together, and that's for the team that they want to go with, you know?
Well, the other way to look at it, taking out box office and being like a looking at it, like, bring it up again. Let me look at it.
More world building, so to speak. Yeah.
Well, just from a basic superhero team.
Yeah.
The issue with Falcon and Cap is that they have the same power set.
Yeah.
So you basically have two flyers on the team, neither with a super soldier serum. So you're like, okay, that's a double, but I get why he wants to bring his mentor on the team. So like, whatever. Right. Shang-Chi, great hand-to-hand combat. Ant-Man, always good to have a shrinker and a grower. Thor and the Hulk are the heavy hitters. Like, they're the tanks of a team. So great. Loki, sorcerer, like mystical powers. You need your sort of sorcerer supreme, your Wanda Maximoff. Cool.
Yeah.
Are they, like, from a basic, what are they missing? Is there anything from any other character that, like, would be, oh, you could have really used this?
It's missing a
like
leader.
I guess. Well,
I mean,
Sam is in universe. Sam is supposed to be the leader.
Yeah.
I think we all agree.
Yeah.
That yes, they're missing a leader, but in the world of Marvel, he has, after his last movie, he should fulfill that role.
Yes, he should fulfill that role, but I don't know
he?
I don't buy Loki taking orders from Captain America, from Sam Wilson's Captain America. I don't
buy Loki or Thor. I buy Shang-Chi doing it because I think like from the last we saw him, he's still new to this world. He's like, I'm just happy to be part of the team.
Right.
Ant-Man will follow anybody. He's like, guys, I'm just psyched to be here.
Yeah.
The Loki Thor thing is interesting because in addition to me going, I don't think either of you listened to Sam. They're like,
yeah,
it'll be interesting to see how they play it because Thor is like, I thought you were dead. Well, I was busy. You were too busy to tell me you were alive. Like, I really want to see what that situation is.
You're too busy to pick up the phone and call me and let me know you're still alive. Yeah, exactly.
Do they not have phones at the TVA?
You could have picked one of them.
By the way, we've seen them.
We have seen the phones. You're right. All right, so we'll see what happens. And this was announced. This was not necessarily announced, but this was revealed apparently during a presentation. Where is it? At the Disney event in Italy. It was presented there as the new Avengers team. It has not officially been confirmed, but since it was presented, a lot of people are running with it, saying that's essentially a confirmation. So we'll see, though, as we get closer. And Michael, we were like 11 days away, or no, wait, how many days? We're 2 weeks away from Avatar coming out, and I imagine the trailer, a lot of people predicting in that trailer. So,
but did you hear the rumor of what that trailer is?
All I've heard is that there's 30 different versions of that trailer to throw people off the scent. But no, what are the rumors?
I'm going to tell you what, and I hope this is not true, and if it's true, I'm going to be pissed.
Tell me.
The rumor that I heard was it's basically the post-credit scene from Thunderbolts with like 20 seconds of new footage cut in there.
That would piss a lot of people off. If they make that decision, bro, that is the stupidest fucking decision you could make. People would be so pissed. People want to.
It was such a. I mean, I have to believe that it's not true, but if it's true, I'm going to be real annoyed.
Especially people.
And I know you already saw Fire and Ash and have your feelings about it, but I am hella excited, and I don't want to return to Pandora real annoyed.
Well, and also, you'll annoy people who bought tickets just to see the trailer. And there are going to be people who buy tickets just to see the trailer. And if all you give them is an extra 20 seconds, there's going to be riots in the theaters. There's going to be riots in the theaters.
Yeah, but at least they have 3 hours and 15 minutes of epic storytelling following that.
They're not going to stick around for that anyway. All right, we'll see. But let's move on to one more thing. We wanted to a funny little story from this week because we rarely talk like straight movies. We talk to focus on geek movies, but this has been an interesting situation. Michael, this kind of broke a few days ago. Quentin Tarantino on a podcast, Bret Easton Ellis's podcast, the gentleman who wrote American Psycho, he was listing his top 20 films of the 21st century, and he listed There Will Be Blood, one of my favorite films ever, at number 5, noting that, quote, it would stand a better chance to be a number 1 or number 2 if it didn't have a big giant flaw in it, and the flaw is Paul Dano, or Paul Dano, however you want to say his name. Obviously, it's supposed to be a two-hander, and it's also so drastically obvious that it's not a two-hander. He is weak sauce, man. He's a weak sister. And he said that Daniel Plainview, when Ellis pushed back, Bret Easton Ellis pushed back, said, well, maybe Daniel Plainview is so gargantuan, and he overshadowed Dano. Tarantino said, so you put him with the weakest male actor in SAG, the limpest dick in the world? I'm not saying he's giving a terrible performance. I'm saying he's giving a non-entity performance. I don't care for him, and I don't care for Owen Wilson, and I don't care for Matthew Lillard. Wow. All these people caught strays. Your thoughts, Mike?
I mean, I think cocaine's a hell of a drug. I'm just kidding. I don't know what Quentin Tarantino's drugs of choice are. I don't know if he's sober. Everybody get off my dick about it. But it is one of those things where you're like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
We all have those opinions about people.
Yeah.
And in the privacy of our non-recorded podcast time, we share those opinions.
Yeah. 100%.
Don't do that on a podcast. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Why are you going after that guy? I almost wanted to be like, well, let's talk about their will. Do you think that Paul Dano's performance, but it doesn't even matter. It's just one of those things that, I mean, this happens all the time. This is going to surprise nobody. But when me and John and Shannon and our other buddies that we talk about are around and we are not recording, sometimes we are a little bit more
honest,
specific in our thoughts about things.
Yeah, sure.
And sometimes there's just things that you just shouldn't say widely. Yeah. And I think we share our opinions pretty clearly. I mean, I don't think we shy away from how we really feel about stuff, but this kind of went from, there's a version of this where you go, you know, I really like There Will Be Blood, and maybe it would be number 1 or number 2, but I think Paul Dano's performance is not the strongest.
Okay. Yes.
And you go, okay, that's fair. But boy, oh boy, this was not that. This was limp dick, worst in SAG. I don't like him or him or him. And you're like, buddy, I get that you're one of the directors of our time, but what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah. It's so weird to me. Because this to me feels like it's personal, right? When you watch, I said this the other night on Hot Mike, when you watch a Law and Order episode and they go, oh, he was stabbed 36 times. That's the crime of passion. Whereas if you stab him once or shoot him in the head once, that's more of a killing, a murder, takeout, execution style. This is
this is
36 times. This is a crime of passion.
This is like you and George Wendt. May he rest in peace.
The late, great George Wendt. Yes. I think he's passed on, right? I think he passed on last year or something.
Oh, he did pass on. We had an entire text conversation about it.
Okay, we did. I never got to get my revenge on poor George, which wasn't his fault. It wasn't his fault. But yes.
Well,
yeah, I mean, this is a crime.
It was his fault. Well, he stood you up.
He did stand me up. But anyway, it's a crime of passion. And so, but I don't understand punching down. You know, Paul Dano is not Tom Cruise or, this big thing. Paul Dano is a working actor who is establishing himself step by step, role by role. And I think the most amazing thing is, Mike, he has not said a word about this. He has played
smart.
Yeah. Everyone else has come forward. Matt Reeves has come forward. The writer for the Batman has come forward. Ben Stiller came forward. All these people have called out, and they haven't even said, Tarantino, you're an asshole. They just said, Paul Dano is a wonderful actor. I love him. He's a great actor. I love working with him. They don't even mention Tarantino, which is even more of a shot to Quentin. So I think he's just looked like an asshole.
It does. Well, but what it reminds me of is, oddly, when Michelle Obama said, when they go low, we go high. Because here's what really happens. Quentin Tarantino went low. He punched below the belt. Even if you agree with him, which is totally fine and valid, he punched below the belt. And Paul Dano had every right to come back and be like, all right, well, let's talk about your shitty movies, bitch.
Right.
But he said nothing. And in the absence of him saying anything, others came to his defense. Yes. And that is the way it should work. If you are liked in this industry, here, and you can always tell, we talk about this with other actors and actresses who, when there's controversy, you can always tell, forget about an actor's quality of work. You can always tell about the quality of person when you see if people come to their side or not.
Yeah. To their defense.
And the fact that so many people stepped up and said, whoa, 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 speaks highly of Paul Dano as a person.
100%. 100%. And this is also on the heels of Maya Hawke calling out Quentin in a way, because they asked her a question on one of the podcasts. She promotes Stranger Things. And it was the Amy Poehler podcast. And she was asked, what advice did you get from Uma? And she said, keep your feet away from Quentin. And that's a direct shot at the fact that he's got a feet obsession, and he violates people's space with his feet obsession. So, and certainly Uma has been open about how she was treated on the Kill Bill film. So, I like that guy. I think people are opening up, and some other people have really come after Tarantino and brought up old stuff. And I'm like, I'm kind of here for it, because if you open your mouth like this, it goes the other way as well.
Yeah.
All right.
Listen, I think Tarantino is super talented. I think, when I saw Pulp Fiction in high school, it blew me out of the water. I still think Tarantino is very talented, but that doesn't mean you can just go off and like shoot your mouth off. Like, let's just be real.
Exactly. 100%. Well, we say that just before we might be about to shoot our mouths off about this, Michael. Let's get into it. The main topic here, burning up.
Get into it. We've been arguing about it all day. I was late. I was an hour late to the gym because of our text messages about this.
I burnt my eggs.
You did burn your eggs.
The race is over, at least for now. David Zaslav and WB are the clear winners here. Netflix has won the race for WB for the moment. An $82 billion deal. Very insane here. The stock, the share, $27.75 a share for the studio and streaming assets. They fought off Paramount, fought off Comcast to get the victory here. And this is an interesting situation when you look at it, Michael, because Paramount is flipping out. They've been flipping out since I was recording this, since yesterday, writing letters. A bunch of producers got together, possibly at Paramount's urging, to write letters to Congress to try to stop this from happening. The GA has come out, SAG has come out, DGA has come out. They've all come out against Netflix purchasing Warner Brothers. Creatives have come out on Twitter and spoken about it, saying it's the death of the industry and all this, the sky is falling type of stuff. And so it's caused a lot of ripples through Hollywood. Your thoughts on this, your feelings on this, and where are you at on it now after a few hours of our debating on text?
Well, you and I are on different sides of this. I think it's fair to say.
I think it's fair.
I'm with all those writers and directors and the WGA and the producers and everybody. Like, I don't think this is a good idea at all. Like, I think it is bad news for the industry. I don't think that. Look, and we're going to talk about it. And Ted Sarandos saying there's going to be a wall. Warner Brothers is still going to do their thing. We absolutely still believe in theatrical. Nothing that Netflix has done up to this point supports any of those statements. And the idea that Netflix is going to use the IP that they are purchasing to continue to build out their streaming platform, even if they do the Guillermo del Toro version of movies where, hey, yeah, come see the Justice League movie in theaters for 2 weeks before it's on streaming. It's not a good sign for the industry. It doesn't look good for anybody. And look, as we have discussed, and you will speak to the other side of this, I'm not thrilled with David Ellison buying up every studio in the world either, but at least it seems like whether I like the movies that he's planning on making or not, he's still planning on making movies. And with Netflix, yes, they're going to make movies, but are those movies going to be in theaters? Is the entire movie theater business going to be devastated by this decision? Like, there's just a lot of question marks out there. And most people in the industry who are making their living doing this day by day, are not thrilled with that level of control, with Netflix having that level of control over the industry itself.
Yeah. Listen, I think there's a lot of ways to look at this, and I'm trying to be as fair as possible. And that is, I understand creatives being worried. I understand executives and producers and owners of these production companies being worried about it, because this isn't Amazon MGM. This is MGM was basically, as if you guys haven't read, I thought Owen Gleiberman did a nice write-up on this in Variety, basically detailing that MGM was essentially a backlog type of studio when it was bought out by Prime. So it was not that big of a deal, right? Just relying on Bond and a couple of other things. And it's even bigger than Fox and Disney, because Fox was very much tanking at the time when Disney came in and took it over and turned it into Searchlight Pictures and whatever. This is a studio that's on a heater. Like right now, WB is killing it with their movies right now. One Battle After Another might win Best Picture. Sinners might win Best Picture, and those are both WB movies. And
Minecraft made $1 billion.
Yeah, Minecraft made a lot of money, and so there's been a run that they're on right now that is very strong. So to sell seems almost to make no sense at this point. But this was all initiated by David Ellison trying to Bigfoot the industry and buy as many studios as he wanted. Zaslav was prepping WB to be sold, and it was scheduled next year, which it still might happen, to break off into the TV side and the film side of things. So this was going to be a progression up to that point. Then they were going to sell. It was Ellison who wanted to put this thing into warp speed and get it, because he thought he had President Trump in his back pocket, daddy's money, and he thought he could step in and do all this. And this blew up in his face, because Sarandis, if you read Matt Bellany's breakdown in Puck, basically outmaneuvered Ellison to get in this position. So this is business. This is the big dogs way at the top. This is two kaijus trying to figure things out while we get stomped on in the city. That's basically what happened here. And in the end, I am a different point of view than you, because I think Netflix has a goal to create content that is about the creators creating the content. Whereas I think if we went with Paramount, there'd be more of an impetus to create stuff that is skewed, has a certain point of view, that aligns more with MAGA or Trump or red state, whatever you want to say, whatever the term is this week. And I just didn't want that to happen. And I think the industry can survive like they've always survived when changes happen in Hollywood. Studios have come and gone for many, many years, and there's always been it's the death knell. United Artists is sinking. That was created by artists. Oh my God, Hollywood is over. Or all of these things happen. Fox and Disney are merging. This is the end of Hollywood. But it keeps surviving, and it keeps going. But go ahead. Yeah.
No, go ahead. Finish what you're saying. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Finish what you're saying.
No. I was just going to say one last thing, is that I understand people's fear of this, and I know there's going to be contraction, possibly less content, but I do agree with Ted as I look at it from an outside objective, well, not objective, but outside point of view. The theatrical windows, that is the way of the dodo. Those days are over. You have to serve the public. The public does not want to go to the movie theaters for all of these movies in the same numbers that they did before. They'll go for the event ones. Absolutely. Stick that in there for a long time. I don't think they're going to change that. It's the smaller stuff. It's the medium level movies that are not making money. And so Ted's saying we're going to still put them out for 3 or 4 weeks, but then we're going to put them on streaming. That's pleasing the consumer. And not enough people are going to see movies, and more people are signing up for streaming services. So in essence, you are following the trends that the public is showing you they want to go in. And that's my point of view on all of this.
Mm-hmm. Your point of view is that you want to turn us all into the fat people in Wall-E who just sit in our living rooms and just watch streaming all day.
No, I mean, you can get a
that's what you're saying. Look, so I think the issue is this, like, yes, you always follow consumer trends. Companies and businesses and industries always follow consumer trends. And yes, the way that we watch movies, whether it is because of the industry or the pandemic or whatever you want to choose, has definitely shifted. But let's look at what happened to the TV industry in the past decade. Sure. Like with the advent of Netflix, which was the first big streamer, which led to the streaming wars, where every fucking company then had a streamer. They blew the entire business of television. The way television had worked for decades and decades and decades, where you have a season of a TV show that's like 26 episodes, And then we have the summer off, and then we have the new season of TV, and we have a bunch of new shows. And then a show gets to a certain number of episodes and it goes into syndication. And then you can watch reruns of that episode on TBS or Nick at Night or wherever you want to watch those things. And then once that show is in syndication, the actors and the directors and the executive producers and everybody get a really nice paycheck for that. Like there was a whole way, like advertisers buying ad time, like commercials, like the entire way the TV industry worked. Netflix came in and in less time than you would have ever believed, blew up the entire thing. So now we get 8 to 10 episode seasons, and we have years between seasons coming out of things, and we have less shows, and we're buying shows from other countries and we're putting them here, and there's all of these things happening. And yes, do we as the consumer still have entertainment? 100%. Do we have good entertainment? You could argue that some of the shows we have are a higher quality than the shows we used to have. There's a lot of ways that as the outward facing consumer, you get that. But the industry has changed completely. The way that we make money off of shows, the way that we sell our shows, the way that we reimburse the people working on those shows has changed in a way that has, to a degree, devastated the industry. Like there are less people working now than there were. Like it is harder to sell a show. It is harder to get a show going. It's just harder to do all of these things. So people in the TV industry have really been shaken. And now, and that happened sort of, and the other issue is Netflix came along and did that and became this giant gorilla. And then Disney was like, we need Disney Plus. And then Paramount was like, well, we're going to do Paramount Plus. And then HBO Max was like, well, we're going to do HBO Max, but now we're just going to call it HBO. But now we're going to call it HBO Max again because we can't make up our minds. But we had all of these streaming channels come out, and all of them were like, we're going to spend a shit ton of money on original content. And for a couple of years, it was like, oh, fuck, this is great. And then they all realized that there is a max number of subscribers that they can get, and they're not going to get more. And they said, oh, we're not going to make as much original content. And then we had this massive shrink. Like we had this whole thing happen where they're like, oh, nobody's making stuff now.
Right.
Or they're making much less stuff now. And so that's been a real problem. And so you look at Netflix buying Warner Brothers and saying, no, we're not going to change anything, guys. It's totally cool. We're good. But given what they've already done to the TV industry, you look at the movie industry and you're like, really? Shorter windows? What does that mean? Because if you are a movie theater, if you're AMC or Lowe's or any movie,
right,
shorter windows, like you're right. Like if you're like, hey, it would be a great world if those giant tentpole movies that we all want to go see come out in theaters, but for the rest of them, they're out for 2 or 3 weeks and then they're on streaming. That might be great for all of us.
Yes.
But for all those movie distributors, they can't do that. That doesn't sustain them. So they're all going to close. And then we don't have movie theaters anymore. And then we only watch stuff on streaming. And cool. But like, is that what we're all looking forward to?
But I think, see, that's not, I think you're going too far. You think you're going at the worst possible case scenario. And I think there will always be movie theaters because as Avatar is about to show
Not
us,
if they can't make money.
They can on the event films, and that's what I think is going to happen.
They can't stay open. They can't stay open 365 days a year on event films only.
I don't know. And that may be right. It may be that your local theater is only open on certain weeks and certain months and certain things of that nature. It's very possible that that's how it goes. But this is one studio. There's still Disney. There's still all these things that are going. There's still studios out there. And I also think once one thing gets contracted, it creates a vacuum. And as we've seen through life, once a vacuum appears in business, more often than not, something comes in to fill that vacuum and to fill that need that people want to
possibly have. That is true.
I mean, A24, I mean, was it A20? Yeah, A24 is spending more money on movies now than they ever have before. You know, it's a mixed results because they want to be a big studio player now. They don't want to be the artsy fartsy kids sitting in theater class. They actually want to be the big man on campus. They want to be on the football team. And so you see that. I think that's a possibility that creatives could go to the A24. They expand their reach, expand the budget, and
maybe
fill that need. Yeah.
I do think. I mean, like the counterpoint to that argument is exactly what happened with TV, which is Netflix came out and delivered streaming. And so
Right.
then Disney and HBO and everybody said, we need to deliver streaming. The other version of what you're saying is Netflix goes, oh, you can see the next DC movie 2 weeks from now in your home. You can see the next Harry Potter movie that we're going to make in your home. And that almost forces Disney and Universal and anybody else to go, fuck.
Very
well,
possible.
we can't have our theater. We can't have our tentpole movie in theaters for 2 months. We have to give it maybe a month, but we have to give our consumers what they're expecting now because they got it from Netflix.
Right.
And now we have to have a shorter window. So it's like, that's the other side of it where you're like, well, we have to keep up with them.
Yeah,
so we need to, like, there's a version of it where I think you're right. It's not like we're never going to have movie theaters, like, but you'll have Alamo Draft Houses and El Capitans. Every town will have that one movie theater that has 2 screens that only plays these limited movies, and that's it. Look, you're not wrong. Like, there is a lot of catastrophizing right now on both sides.
Yes,
whether it's David Ellison is going to turn all media into Fox News or Netflix is going to destroy the entertainment industry. But I do think that it probably ends up somewhere in the middle. Like, you are not wrong that entertainment isn't going away.
No.
There will be more stories. There will be more movies. There will be more things that happen. And with the advent of AI, as much as a lot of us might not like that, and with the studios like A24, like you're saying, spending more money, like there's going to be different options. And with like an entire generation growing up, spending most of their time watching YouTube and TikTok, that's going to change things.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I think. Netflix has always been kind of 1 or 2 steps ahead of the general public, in that they see the trends and they go in that direction, and they don't care about how many eggs they need to crack or break in order to make their omelet, because they've got to feed their people their fucking omelet. And we've seen that. You mentioned this great example you mentioned with the TV. Yes, we're going to, but if the consumers weren't there for the decisions that they're making, they would have gone out of business a long time ago. And I think they know what the consumers want. It's just that, creatives and people who are in this bubble of Hollywood, or whatever you want to say, New York, Hollywood, whatever you want to say, it's a very small portion of the general public. And so, yes, it sucks. They're going to lose jobs. Things are going to contract, which happens all the time. This would have happened if Paramount bought WB, the contraction, the loss of jobs. All of that would have stayed the same. But
there would be a loss of no. It's a different thing. It's a different thing. Yes, if Paramount bought Warner Brothers, there's just like with Fox and Disney, there's a contraction of jobs because there are there's 2 departments doing the same thing.
Right.
And when you consolidate, you're like, we don't need both departments. So that would absolutely happen.
Yes.
And again, there's an assumption happening here. Maybe I'm wrong. I would be happy if I was wrong. But whether you agree with the types of movies David Ellison might be making, it seems pretty clear that David Ellison is still very focused on making movies. All of the things that Ted Sarandos is saying aside, Netflix does not, at this current point, seem like they are really big on keeping that window open for theatrical releases.
I think they are open to, I mean, Sarando said, like, he's open to maintaining this model, but they want the model to evolve, which I think is fair. It's business. And
the second that you say I'm open to something, but I want it to evolve, let me tell you something. Hey, babe, I love you so much. And this past year of our relationship has been amazing. And I want to keep it the same, but I think the relationship needs to evolve.
Yeah.
What do you think that means?
Evolve to a throuple or something? I guess that's what it means.
Now it's an open relationship and we're fucking everybody. Like, you're like, that's not what I signed up for. It's not what I wanted.
You may not know you wanted it until it happened. Then you're like, well, this is actually way more exciting. And now I'm much more committed to our relationship because you're
texting the lady outlaw. I'm texting the lady outlaw after this podcast.
No. Neither one of us had the energy to be in a throuple. Let me put that on.
John Rocha said he wants a throuple. Also, more Netflix.
Yes, and more Netflix. I just think, we have to see how this all plays out. I think it is going to go through, regardless of the Trump crying and all that kind of shit. And even Paramount trying this takeover bid, because or the hostile takeover bid, because there's no way. I would be really surprised if David Zaslav approved this sale knowing that 20% of his board would be against it to help Paramount launch a hostile takeover bid. I just don't think that would. I think he polled everybody.
David Zaslav is imagining the island that he is going to go buy. He does. He's like, listen, man.
I'm gonna give him a little more credit than that, dude. We'll see. But in the end, look, of course I'm very sad that people might lose jobs, that certain films or stories might not get told, or certain things, and maybe the industry changes a little bit because certain films, but like they are putting out movies. They've put out 30 films in theaters. They have J. Kelly, Frankenstein, the upcoming Chronicles of Narnia film, Train Dreams even got a run in the theater. So you're getting the Knives Out.
A run in the theater. How many weeks was Frankenstein in theaters?
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
But I guarantee you, look, F1 was only supposed to be in theaters for 3 weeks, but because people kept coming to the movie, they extended the window. And this is what it all comes down to, in my opinion. Not enough people, and yes, some of you listening or watching us, not enough of you went to enough movies to make this still be a viable situation where people are like, no, we've got to create movies only for theatrical distribution and then keep the window open. It's very clear most of the consumers are telling the streaming services, yeah, we want to stay home, except for the big stuff. And as a good business, they have to listen to what the consumer wants to satisfy them. Because in the end, you're working in an outdated business model if you keep trying to do stuff and you're losing money while you're doing it in this stubborn pursuit of, no, movies must still exist in this certain way. I just think you have to always evolve or die in business, and it is a business. That's my 2 cents.
It is. I do think that there is an element of consumers don't always know what they want. Now, I don't disagree. Look, by the way, I don't disagree with you. Like, consumer habits have changed, and when it comes to the smaller movies, people do not show up the way they used to. Zootopia 2 comes out, everybody fucking goes. Wicked for Good comes out, everybody fucking goes. Great. But people definitely don't show up the way they used to.
Yeah.
Now they were trained through the pandemic that if they just wait, they're going to get to watch it at home. So that's part of it. But there is a level of, you either can give up or you can go, okay, how do we, horror movies, which are, as we talk about all the time, very cheap to make and very maximum reward when they make money, they get people in theaters. Yeah. Those are small movies. Like, they figured it. There's something about that formula. So if I'm making a family drama or a, kind of straight down the line buddy comedy, and I know that those types of movies don't get people into theaters, your version of this is the consumer doesn't want it. Let's not do it. And my version of this is, let's figure out a version that surprises them so much that they show up.
Yeah, and that would work. And that will work for 1 or 2 movies. It will not work at the level that it needs to work in order to maintain this business model. And that's what I'm trying to say on Twitter all day. I can be of both minds. One, I can be devastated for the people who are going to lose jobs and for some of the creatives who are not going to get to do the things that they want to do. Of course, I've been through that as an actor my first 20 years in the business, seeing how little we were getting paid, how much we were getting paid at the beginning in the early 2000s when I was out in LA, to where the mid 2000s and before I left, the pay was dog shit. And that non-union was coming in and corrupting union, all these producers, the same people bitching now about what Warner Brothers doing, were so not having an issue about undercutting union actors to bring in non-union actors to pay them less to make their projects. I mean, I find a hypocrisy in that, but like, this is the situation that always happens. It's evolving. It always evolves to the point of, how can I make the most and pay the least? And sadly, that's business for a lot of people. And I think your way of doing things, Michael, I would love that to be the case, because that would mean that more movies are in the theaters and more people are going to see these medium level or smaller type movies. But that's simply not the case, even with the rare exception where it is the case.
I'm going to say something that's going to make you mad.
Okay. What else is new?
There's a world. Well, there's a world.
Yeah.
And this makes me mad as I'm saying it, but you really don't want David Ellison because you think he's tied to Trump and he's tied to MAGA and he's tied to all this stuff.
Not that
there's
I think.
a world where David.
Go ahead, yeah.
Okay, I mean, he is. That is a fact.
Yes.
There's a world where David Ellison comes into Paramount and starts making movies that have more of a right-wing bent, and people show up to see them because there's an audience for it. And his smaller movies start making money, and what do you do then?
I think you have to respect the business model because that's what the consumer wants. So he's got Paramount. Here we go. Let's go go ahead and tell John M. Chu to make you a red state movie, make you a MAGA movie. Go ahead and tell him, make him do it. Let's see what happens.
You can make a movie that appeals to the right wing without making it a MAGA movie.
Nowadays? All right.
You love, we talked about this a few weeks ago. You love all the Taylor Sheridan shows.
Those are purple.
So do red state people.
Yeah, but those are purple shows. Those are purple shows.
You can call them purple, but I'll fine. David Ellison can make purple movies then. But like, I'm just saying that. But I'm saying that that is another potential solution that maybe a lot of people don't want to dive into, but is a valid solution to the problem that you are expressing. I just think that what I think is you following the Ted Sarandos logic, which is people don't like going to the movies for a ton of reasons. People have great entertainment systems at home. Therefore, we're going to supply them on streaming movie level entertainment in their living room so that they don't have to leave.
Right.
Which upsets the entire way that the industry has worked for decades, is not the only solution to the problem.
Well, no, I think that's fair. It's not the only solution to the problem. But for me personally, I think this is the better route than the Ellison route. And like you said at the beginning of our discussion, we just disagree on that. And I think.
Yeah, but when I say that, it usually means I think I'm right.
Well, yes. Who are you telling? Who are you telling after 30 years? I know what that means. But I always think if I can hold my own with you, then I know I'm in a good place about this. So, and I hope I held my own going back and forth on this because I think you make a lot of excellent points, Michael, and I certainly don't begrudge you your points of views or your angled. And I think a lot of people probably share your points of views in the industry and the business, and I totally respect that. It's just that I always come at it from a business angle. What's the smartest move for them business wise? Because these are companies. This is not in your backyard black box theater bullshit. This is real life.
But that is, I mean, I think ultimately, to wrap it up, because we're a little bit over, but I think that to wrap it up, I think that you're not wrong that for this is really what it boils down to. You are not wrong when you say that for Netflix's business model, this makes sense. I think what the rest of Hollywood is so concerned about is everybody knows what Netflix's business model is and doesn't want it. And they might not like David Ellison either.
Right.
But what David Ellison's business model is at least you might hate the movies, you might hate the content,
right? But
it doesn't upset the entire industry. Netflix's business model and what makes sense for them from a business standpoint does upset the entire business, the entire industry itself. So it's a matter of, do I have to deal with this guy making a bunch of movies that I might go, fuck, I don't want to watch that shit, but people are seeing it, so he's making money, versus, fuck, movie theaters are closing and the entire industry has now shifted, and where do we go from here? And I think that's what people are grappling with.
Yeah, change.
Because you're not wrong. You are right. But that's the key, is that Netflix's business is not necessarily the business Hollywood wants to be in.
Yeah, and I understand that. Certainly Cameron said that right in his tour for promoting Avatar. Netflix should never come close to an Oscar because of things that Sarandos has said. And to Sarandos, I will agree with you that some of the things he said have not been the best, and which is why people are reacting the way he's reacting. But I also think you can't play both sides. And so if you have an issue with Netflix is doing, go ahead and cancel your Netflix subscription. Go ahead and cancel your HBO.
No, man, I gotta watch Stranger Things season 5. I gotta watch Stranger Things season 5.
And the same thing with creatives. If you've got Martin Scorsese and Guillermo del Toro and Catherine Bigelow doing movies for Netflix, then what is the industry really telling Netflix when you say that? It's mixed messaging. Netflix goes, what can we do? We got a lot of money. Let's make this move. And by the way, they're using your money, subscribers to Netflix who are watching and listening to us, who may hate what's happening. They're using your money. They're using your numbers as a subscriber base as a basis to borrow money to make this move. So we're all complicit. We're all complicit. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. I thought we were wrapping this shit up, but like, here's the thing. I don't begrudge. Like, I love Netflix. Yeah, I enjoy Netflix, and I I went to go see Frankenstein in the theater with Shannon, and then I watched it again when it came out on streaming. I don't think that the Netflix model in and of itself is some awful thing and that they're the devil. I think Netflix being a thing that exists now, and this is the shape of the business, is completely valid.
Right.
When I look at the Warner Brothers library, and Warner Brothers as one of the big studios that distributes big tentpole movies and has the Harry Potter franchise and the Looney Tunes and the DC library, like, it's just like, while I am super happy for a Frankenstein or a J. Kelly or any of those movies to come out for a few weeks and then be on Netflix, and that they're bringing in premium talent to make premium content for their platform and be the monster in the streaming wars, great.
Yeah.
When I think of a world, and maybe this is not going to happen, so we'll see, but like, when I think of a world where the Justice League movie that we've been waiting for years, the new Justice League movie that we've been waiting for years, comes out, and 2 weeks later it's on streaming, and it was all sold out for 2 weeks because the people that wanted to go, like, it's that's where I start to go, I don't love this world.
Yeah.
And I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. I just think you got to create space that Netflix will extend the runs of movies that are making millions of dollars in the theaters. I don't see Netflix going, you know what? Yeah, I know it made 50 million last week, but we got to adhere to our business model, so we're moving into streaming. I think it'll be a very much.
You could also make room for the space that David Ellison will just follow the money and make good movies for a general audience, but that's just another thing that I'm saying.
Tom Cruise said he couldn't be in the room with him after a while, so I take my cues from.
There's a lot of people that can't be in the room with Tom Cruise. We've all seen him jump on that couch on Oprah.
How dare you? How dare you? It was a long time ago. Anyway, so that's our thoughts. Oh, I know we got to wrap up. One last thing. Does Snyderverse come back, yes or no? And does James Gunn's DC stay where it's at for now, and then maybe down the road it changes if this deal goes through?
We made it an hour and 17 minutes.
I'm sorry.
Here's what I'll say about the Snyderverse. With everything else going on and me being concerned about the state of the industry and my boss calling me at 8:00 this morning to talk to me about what the fuck are we going to do, the fact that I had to go on Twitter and see a bunch of Snyder bros saying we won, and I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I agree. It's nonsense.
Listen, in that respect, I don't know. I'm trying to think of what Netflix would do. I think Netflix would be a little bit crazy, assuming it all goes. It's not going to go through for 2 years, so we got 2 more years for Gunn and Warner Brothers and Safran and everybody to sort of do their thing. And like I've said from the get-go, if their thing continues to be successful, there's no reason for anybody to shift that.
Agreed.
Now, and I also don't think that Netflix is sitting there going, that Zack Snyder, Rebel Moon was not a giant success for them.
I agree. It was.
Rebel Moon didn't blow people out of the water. So I don't think that Netflix is over there going, if only we could get more Snyder content. But is there a world where they're like, let's give these people what they want and let's have 2 versions of DC going at the same time? Like, I don't think there's a world where they dump Gunn and say, let's bring back Snyder.
I agree with that.
Is there a world where they decide we're going to dump everybody and just do our own thing? Sure, possibly. But I don't think that there's some like deep-rooted desire within Netflix to hand the keys of the kingdom back to Snyder.
Yeah.
I don't know where that became a thing.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I think you're more likely to see Snyder direct a DC film for James Gunn than you will seeing Snyder take over and do his own universe on Netflix. I think that would not be possible. Plus, some of those actors probably don't want to come back,
If we lived in some kind of like weird entertainment post-apocalyptic universe, Ted Sarandos coming out and saying, we're going to have the battle of the ages, and we are releasing 2 Justice League movies, one directed by James Gunn and one directed by Zack Snyder, and you, the viewer, get to decide. But like, once we reach that point, I'm tapping out. I'm going to go live in a cave. I'm done.
I don't disagree with you. We'll still cover it, and then we'll wrap up the entire show.
I mean, I'll watch it, but I'll watch it. But then I'm going to the cave.
All right. Well, there you go. That's our supersized episode for today. But of course, that was a big topic. We had to talk about it and give our feelings and thoughts over it. So thank you all so much for putting up with that or for enjoying it. We hope you appreciated that. And Michael, what do we have to tell wonderful folks who are listening or watching us?
If you would like to follow us, you can do so on Twitter at geek_buddies, on Instagram at _geek_buddies. If you would like to follow Mr. Rocha, you can do so at The Rocha Says. If you would like to follow me, you can do so at MKToon. Smash that like button below. Subscribe to Johnny's John Rocha page. Check out all the amazing content he has got there. Leave your comments below. What do you think of ScarJo and Batman? What do you think of this new Avengers team? What do you think of Vin Diesel doing Rock'em Sock'em Robots? What do you think of Paul Dano? Give him some love in the comments. Someone's got to give him some love. And what do you think of this potential Netflix Warner Brothers merger? Is it a good idea? Is it a bad idea? Do you agree with me? Do you agree with John? Are we both way off? Let us know in the comments below. If you're listening to us on a podcast, leave us some stars and comments so we go up in the rankings. And as always, the best thing you can do is retweet this video, post it on your socials, send it to your friends, and tell them to hang out with your buddies, the Geek Buddies.
There you go. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. I know that's a mouthful. And thanks to all of you who watched or listened to us today. And we all hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving, and you hope you have a good weekend, and hope you're enjoying the beginning of the holiday season here. It's Christmas holiday season is happening. Our tree is done. Our outside is done. We are in full Christmas mode now. So hope you all are enjoying it as well. And we'll talk to you next time with another brand new episode of the
Geek
Buddies.